India is not just a country to me, it is my heartbeat, my strength, my identity. When I look at this land, I don't just see soil, rivers, and mountains. I see history, sacrifice, and dreams woven together. I see the tears of freedom fighters, the sweat of farmers, the brilliance of scientists, the creativity of artists, and the courage of soldiers. This land has given me everything: my roots, my voice, my vision. When I say I love India, I don't mean it in words alone. I mean it in the way my heart beats with pride when I hear the national anthem, in the way my soul lights up when I see the tricolor flying high, in the way I feel unstoppable knowing that I belong to a nation that has always risen, no matter how many times it was tested. India has taught me resilience. We are a people who never give up. We stumble, we struggle, we fall, but we rise again and again, stronger than before. This spirit runs in my blood. Whenever I feel like quitting, I remind myself I come from a land where ordinary people create extraordinary miracles every single day. Loving India is not just about saying it, it's about living it. It's about respecting every hand that works, every heart that dreams, and every voice that believes in change. It's about carrying forward the values of unity, respect, and hard work. It's about asking myself every morning, what can I give back to this land that has given me everything? My India is my hope. My India is my inspiration. My India is my life. And as long as I live, I will live not just for myself, but for the progress, dignity, and greatness of this motherland. Because when India grows, I grow. When India shines, I shine. And when India wins, I win. India is my identity. These words are not just a statement, but the deepest truth of my existence. When I say India defines who I am, it goes far beyond my passport, my place of birth, or my nationality. It means that every aspect of my character, my values, my way of seeing life, and my strength comes from this land. It means that the story of my life is inseparable from the story of India. I cannot talk about myself without talking about my country, because everything I am today is rooted in the soil of this nation. When I walk through the streets of India, I don't just see people, I see reflections of myself. The farmer who toils under the sun, hoping for rain, teaches me patience. The student studying under a dim streetlight shows me determination. The entrepreneur starting small, with nothing but courage, teaches me belief. The soldier standing on the border teaches me sacrifice. All of these people, all of these stories, shape my identity. Their spirit is my spirit. Their struggles are my struggles. Their victories are my victories. That is why when I look in the mirror, I don't just see myself. I see India within me. Our land is not ordinary. Every corner of this country whispers stories of courage and resilience. The soil still carries the footprints of those who walked for freedom, those who gave their lives so that we could breathe in independence. This history is not locked in textbooks. It lives inside us. When I remind myself that I belong to a country that has survived invasions, struggles, and countless challenges, I realize that strength is in my DNA. No matter how hard life gets, I know I cannot give up easily, because my identity comes from a land that never surrenders. India is also the identity of diversity. In one country, we carry hundreds of languages, countless cultures, religions, traditions, and ways of life. And yet, there is one heartbeat connecting us all. That heartbeat is India itself. This diversity teaches me acceptance, respect, and unity. It reminds me that strength does not come from sameness, but from togetherness. My identity is not defined by being just one thing. It is defined by being many things at once. That is the power of India, and that is the power inside me. When the world looks at India, they may see numbers: 1.4 billion people, growing cities, rising economy. But when I look at India, I see life, energy, dreams, and unstoppable spirit. I see children with big dreams in small villages. I see scientists working late nights to send rockets into space. I see workers building skyscrapers with their bare hands. I see artists painting hope through their creations. And I see people, no matter how tough their situation, still waking up every morning to fight for a better tomorrow. This is not just the story of India. This is my story. This is my identity. Even the smallest details remind me of who I am. The aroma of chai at a roadside stall, the sound of temple bells, the call of the azan, the rhythm of folk songs, the energy of festivals. These are not just experiences. They are threads that weave into my soul. They remind me that I come from a country where every day is a celebration of life, even in the face of struggle. That celebration, that resilience, is what gives me strength when I feel weak. It is what lifts me up when life pushes me down. My identity as an Indian is not just about pride, it is about responsibility. To belong to this land means I carry with me the duty to honor it. It means I must stand for truth, for unity, and for growth. It means I must work not only for myself, but for the betterment of my people, because my success is incomplete if my country does not progress with me. India has given me everything: my language, my culture, my values, my opportunities. And in return, I must give back my effort, my honesty, and my dedication. Whenever I face challenges, I remind myself of where I come from. I come from a country that invented ideas, philosophies, sciences, and technologies long before the world even knew their names. I come from a land where saints, leaders, and visionaries shaped humanity with wisdom and courage. I come from a soil watered by sacrifice, nurtured by knowledge, and strengthened by unity. This is my foundation. This is what holds me when I feel like breaking. This is what tells me you are stronger than you think because you carry India inside you. India is not just a place on the map for me. It is the rhythm of my heartbeat, the voice of my soul, and the essence of who I am. To say India is my identity is to say that every victory I achieve is not mine alone, but a victory for the spirit of this land. It is to say that no matter where I go in the world, I will always carry the fragrance of this soil, the lessons of this culture, and the strength of this history within me. And it is to say that as long as I live, my story will always remain a chapter in the greater story of India. Pride in heritage is not just about looking back at the past. It is about carrying the fire of history in our present and letting it light the way for the future. When I think about India's heritage, I feel an energy that is beyond words. It is not just about monuments, temples, forts, or scriptures. It is about the spirit of the people who built them, the sacrifices of those who protected them, and the dreams of those who envisioned them. It is about knowing that I come from a civilization that has given so much to the world and still stands tall despite every challenge. That knowledge fills me with a pride that shapes the way I walk, the way I speak, and the way I dream. Every time I read about our freedom fighters, I realize that my pride in heritage is not built on empty words, but on real sacrifices. Generations before us gave their blood, their youth, and their lives so that we could live with dignity. They walked unarmed in front of bullets. They endured prisons. They faced hunger, pain, and humiliation, all because they believed in the dream of a free India. How can I ever forget that? How can I ever let their sacrifices fade into dust? Every drop of their sweat, every tear they shed for the motherland is a reminder that I am walking on the road they built with their courage. That road is my inheritance, and my pride comes from walking it with responsibility. But heritage is not only about freedom, it is also about knowledge. Long before the world even began to understand mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy, India had already gifted these treasures to humanity. The concept of zero, the science of Ayurveda, the wisdom of the Vedas, the strategies of Chanakya, the spiritual depth of yoga. This is not just history, it is part of my identity. When I study, when I work, when I create, I carry with me the legacy of a land that has always believed in learning, sharing, and evolving. That makes me proud, not just of what India has been, but of what it continues to be, a source of knowledge and wisdom for the entire world. And then there is the culture, the songs, the dances, the languages, the food, the festivals. Every state, every community, every family carries traditions that are unique and yet connected to the soul of India. This cultural heritage is like a vast ocean, and I am a drop within it. It is through this culture that I learn humility, because I realize I am part of something much larger than myself. It is through this culture that I learn respect, because I see beauty in differences. And it is through this culture that I learn celebration, because India teaches me how to find joy not just in my own happiness, but in the happiness of everyone around me. That too is pride and heritage, living in a country where every day feels like a festival of life. Our soldiers are also part of this heritage of pride. The stories of bravery from the borders are not just headlines, they are reminders that courage runs deep in our blood. Every soldier who guards the nation is carrying forward the same spirit of sacrifice that our ancestors showed when they fought for freedom. The pride I feel knowing that such courage belongs to my nation is beyond description. It makes me believe that no challenge is too big, no obstacle too strong, as long as we carry the spirit of sacrifice and service in our hearts. When I look at the great leaders, reformers, and visionaries who shaped India, my pride in heritage grows even more. They did not just dream, they turned their dreams into reality. They faced criticism, opposition, and setbacks, but they never stopped believing in the power of this land. Their stories teach me that heritage is not only about remembering the past, it is about continuing their unfinished work. It is about carrying their vision into today's challenges. It is about asking myself, am I living in a way that honors the legacy of those who came before me? Even our villages, with their simplicity and traditions, are part of this rich heritage. The way people respect the land, share with their neighbors, live in harmony with nature, these are values that modern society often forgets. But for me, they are treasures. They remind me that India's strength lies not only in its progress, but in its roots. To take pride in heritage means to never forget where I come from, no matter how high I rise. Pride in heritage also means resilience. Our country has faced invasions, colonization, division, poverty, and yet it has always risen again. Every time the world thought India was broken, it came back stronger, more united, more determined. That resilience is not just a part of history. It is alive in us today. When I fall, when I fail, when I face rejection, I remind myself that my heritage is one of resilience. If my country can rise after centuries of struggle, then I too can rise after every setback. And perhaps the most beautiful part of our heritage is unity in diversity. We are a country of countless differences, yet when it matters, we stand as one. This unity is not fragile, it is powerful. It is the reason why we survived challenges that could have destroyed us. It is the reason why, even today, the name India carries respect across the world. When I see this unity, my chest swells with pride because it tells me that no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I belong to something greater, something unshakable, something eternal. That is what pride in heritage means to me. It is the reminder that I walk not alone, but with the strength of millions before me. It is the fire in my heart that pushes me forward, the anchor that keeps me grounded, and the light that shows me the way. It is knowing that I carry within me the courage of freedom fighters, the wisdom of scholars, the creativity of artists, the resilience of farmers, and the bravery of soldiers. That is my heritage, and that is my pride. Unbreakable resilience is the soul of India, and it flows in the veins of every Indian. When I think about what makes this country truly extraordinary, it is not just its size, not just its population, not even its rich history. It is the spirit of never giving up. Time and again, India has been tested, pushed, challenged, and even broken in parts, but every single time it has risen stronger, brighter, and more determined than before. That resilience is not something written only in history books. It is alive in every home, every street, every person I see around me. It is alive in me because India's resilience is my resilience. There were times in history when the world believed India could not rise again. Centuries of invasions, exploitation, and colonization tried to silence this land. There were attempts to take away not just its wealth, but its spirit, its voice, its freedom. Yet what happened? India endured. It endured because resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about facing pain and still refusing to give up. India stood tall, even when the chains of slavery tried to bend it. And that spirit still whispers to me, if my country could endure centuries of struggle and still shine, then I too can face any storm in life. Resilience is also seen in the ordinary lives of people. The farmer who waits for rains in the scorching heat, and if the rains fail, still wakes up the next morning with hope to try again. That is resilience. The student who studies with limited resources, sometimes without electricity, sometimes without books, yet dreams of becoming something great. That is resilience. The worker who leaves his village to earn in a big city, facing hardship, hunger, and loneliness, but keeps going for the sake of his family. That is resilience. These stories are everywhere in India, and they remind me that resilience is not rare. It is the backbone of our people. When disasters strike, floods, droughts, earthquakes, or even pandemics, I see the unshakable resilience of India. People come together, strangers help strangers, communities rebuild, and life begins again. It is almost as if this land itself refuses to stay broken. No matter how harsh the blow, India finds a way to stand up. This spirit teaches me that resilience is not about avoiding challenges. It is about rebuilding with courage, no matter how many times we are knocked down. Resilience is also about innovation. Look at how India has turned problems into opportunities. With limited resources, we have achieved extraordinary things. We launched satellites at a fraction of global costs. We created medicines that reached the world. We turned challenges into stepping stones. This shows me that resilience is not just surviving. It is about thriving despite difficulties. It is about creating light even in the darkest times. That is the kind of resilience I want to carry in my own life, the ability to turn struggles into stepping stones and hardships into opportunities. But resilience does not only exist in great achievements, it lives in the spirit of unity. Our country has faced divisions, riots, conflicts, but in the end, the power of unity has always brought us back together. That ability to heal, to forgive, to rebuild relationships is also resilience. It teaches me that resilience is not just personal, it is collective. It is the power to stand as one even when storms try to tear us apart. It is the power to remember that no matter what divides us, the bond of being Indian is stronger than anything else. And I cannot forget the resilience of our soldiers. They stand in the coldest mountains, the harshest deserts, and the most dangerous borders. They face fear and uncertainty every single day, yet they do not flinch. Their resilience is unbreakable because they believe in something greater than themselves. They remind me that resilience is born when you have a purpose bigger than your pain. Their spirit tells me that no matter what challenges I face in my own life, if my purpose is strong, I will not break. This resilience also comes from our spiritual depth. For centuries, India has taught the world philosophies that emphasize patience, balance, and strength of the mind. Yoga, meditation, and inner discipline are not just practices. They are tools of resilience. They show us that true strength is not in avoiding suffering, but in mastering the mind to face suffering with calmness. This wisdom makes me proud because it tells me that resilience is not just about fighting outside battles. It is also about winning the battles inside me. Every time I think I cannot go further, I remember the resilience of India. I remind myself of the countless times this land was counted out, and yet it proved everyone wrong. I remind myself of the mothers who raised children in hardship, the fathers who work tirelessly for their families, the youth who fight for their dreams despite setbacks. They are living examples that resilience is not just a story of the past. It is alive in every corner of India today. Resilience, to me, is the silent power that defines us as a people. It is what allows us to carry pain without losing hope. It is what allows us to endure loss without giving up on life. It is what allows us to see failure as a lesson, not as an end. India has shown this resilience for thousands of years, and because I am part of this land, I know that same resilience lives in me. Loving India is not about saying it loudly in words. It is about proving it quietly through actions. Anyone can declare love, but very few can live it. True love for our nation is not shown in speeches or slogans alone. It is shown in the choices we make every single day, in the way we treat our people, in the respect we give to our culture, and in the effort we put in to make this land better than it was yesterday. Love is not in the promises we make, it is in the sacrifices we are willing to give. And when it comes to India, I believe that real love means living for the progress of this motherland, not just talking about it. If I say I love India, but I disrespect the very people who build this country, then my love is empty. Love must be lived in the way I treat others, respecting the farmer who grows my food, honoring the teacher who shapes my mind, valuing the worker who builds my roads, and showing gratitude to the soldier who protects my tomorrow. This is love in action. Every small act of kindness, every gesture of respect, every bit of honesty in my work is a contribution to my nation. That is how love becomes real. Living love also means protecting what belongs to all of us. This land is not mine alone. It belongs to every Indian, present and future. When I take care of the environment, when I keep my surroundings clean, when I use resources wisely, I am showing love not just to India, but to generations yet to come. Words may fade, but these actions will remain as proof that I truly cared. If I say I love India, but pollute its rivers, destroy its forests, or disrespect its beauty, then my words mean nothing. Real love demands responsibility, and responsibility is lived, not spoken. Love for India must also show in the way I uphold values. Honesty, hard work, and unity are not just personal virtues, they are national strengths. When I cheat, when I cut corners, when I give less than my best, I am not just hurting myself, I am hurting my country. But when I put in sincere effort, when I stand by truth even when it is hard, when I help instead of divide, I strengthen the very foundation of India. That is why love is not about shouting that I am proud of my country. It is about quietly being the kind of citizen who makes the country proud. Another way of living love is in how I carry forward the culture and traditions of this land. Every festival, every song, every story is a thread in the fabric of India. To love India is to protect and honor this heritage. It means not being ashamed of where I come from, not abandoning my roots in search of what looks modern or fashionable. It means respecting all cultures within India equally, because the strength of this nation is in its diversity. When I celebrate my traditions while also respecting those of others, I am showing the world that love for India is love for unity. Love must also be visible in the way I serve. Service to the nation does not only mean joining the army or holding a position of power, it means contributing in whatever way I can. A student who studies with dedication is serving the nation. A doctor who treats patients with care is serving the nation. A worker who builds with honesty is serving the nation. A leader who puts people above power is serving the nation. Every person has the ability to serve, and service is the purest form of love. Even in the smallest acts, love can be lived. Paying taxes honestly, obeying laws, respecting women, helping the poor, encouraging the youth. These may seem simple, but together they create a nation of dignity. Love is not in making grand declarations once a year on Independence Day or Republic Day. Love is in the everyday decisions that shape the character of the country. If I live with integrity, I am honoring India. If I live with compassion, I am uplifting India. If I live with courage, I am protecting India. Living love also means standing for unity. There will always be forces that try to divide us by language, by religion, by region, by caste. But true love for India means refusing to fall into those traps. It means seeing beyond differences and remembering that we are one family. If I truly love this land, I cannot allow hate to weaken it. I must live in a way that strengthens bonds, heals wounds, and brings people closer. Unity is not built in words, it is built in the way we live together. And perhaps the greatest way of living love for India is by asking myself every day, what can I give? Love is not about taking, it is about giving. It is about giving my time, my effort, my energy, and my best self for the good of this land. If I only take from my country without giving back, my love is incomplete. But if I dedicate myself, even in small ways, to making India stronger, more respected, and more prosperous, then my love becomes eternal. To live love for India is to carry it in my actions, in my values, and in my service. It is to make sure that when people look at me, they don't just hear me say, I love my country, they see it in the way I live. Because in the end, love spoken is forgotten, but love lived is remembered forever. Giving back to the nation is the purest form of gratitude. Every breath I take, every step I walk, every dream I chase is possible only because this land gave me life, identity, and opportunities. To give back is not an option. It is a responsibility. It is the duty of every citizen who calls this soil their home. Too often we speak of what the country has not done for us, but rarely do we ask ourselves, what have I done for my country? Real love for India is measured not by what we demand from it, but by what we contribute to it. Giving back does not always mean doing something huge or dramatic. It begins with small, consistent acts that show respect and responsibility. If I keep my surroundings clean, I am giving back. If I pay my taxes honestly, I am giving back. If I plant a tree, teach a child, or help a neighbor in need, I am giving back. These may look like simple things, but together they create a ripple effect that strengthens the nation. The greatness of India is not built by a few leaders alone. It is built by millions of ordinary citizens who choose to give back in extraordinary ways. One of the most powerful ways to give back is through hard work. Every job done with honesty and dedication, no matter how small, contributes to the progress of the nation. A teacher giving their best in class, a doctor caring for patients with sincerity, a shopkeeper dealing honestly, a farmer working the land with devotion, all of these acts are silent yet powerful ways of giving back. When I give my best effort in my field of work, I am not just earning for myself, I am adding to the strength and progress of India. Another way to give back is through knowledge. Education is not just a personal achievement, it is a national resource. If I use what I have learned only for myself, then I am keeping it limited. But if I share that knowledge, mentor others, inspire the youth, or create solutions that solve problems for society, then I am giving back to the land that gave me the opportunity to learn. Every idea, every invention, every innovation that improves lives is a gift to India. And that is the kind of giving back that makes a lasting difference. Serving others is also a powerful form of giving back. Service does not need to be grand. It can be as simple as helping someone in need, supporting the less privileged, or standing up for justice. When I choose to care not just for myself, but for my fellow citizens, I am strengthening the soul of this nation. A society is only as strong as its compassion, and every act of service adds to India's collective strength. True patriotism is not just about waving a flag, it is about lending a hand when someone falls. Giving back also means protecting the dignity of India. That means respecting women, valuing diversity, and upholding justice. If I turn away from injustice, I am not giving back, I am taking away. But if I stand for what is right, even when it is hard, then I am honoring the sacrifices of those who built this nation. Giving back means carrying forward the values of equality, respect, and fairness in everyday life. A country becomes stronger not by words alone, but by actions that protect its dignity. The environment is another space where giving back becomes crucial. This land has given us rivers, forests, mountains, and fertile soil. If I exploit them without care, I am taking from India without returning. But if I protect nature, conserve resources, and live responsibly, I am giving back to the future generations of this country. True love for India is not about using its resources blindly. It is about preserving them so that children yet to be born can also enjoy the gifts of this land. And perhaps one of the most important ways to give back is through unity. Every time I choose harmony over division, peace over conflict, respect over hate, I am giving back to my country. India's greatest strength has always been its ability to stand united despite countless differences. If I contribute to unity instead of division, I am honoring that heritage. Every word of kindness, every act of respect, every step toward understanding is a way of giving back. Giving back also means being an example. The younger generation looks at us to learn what it means to be Indian. If I live with integrity, discipline, and compassion, I am setting an example that will inspire them. That is also a form of giving back, passing on the values that keep the spirit of India alive. What I do today will echo in the generations that follow, and that is a responsibility I cannot ignore. Most of all, giving back means asking myself daily, am I making my country better, even in the smallest way? Every morning is an opportunity to serve, every day is a chance to contribute, and every night is a reminder of what more I can do. To give back is not a one-time act, it is a way of living. It is the understanding that my success is incomplete unless it uplifts others, and my happiness is shallow unless it adds to the happiness of my people. Because in the end, everything I have, my freedom, my opportunities, my dreams exists because of India, and to give back is the only way I can truly honor that gift. Shared destiny is what binds me to India in the deepest possible way. My future is not separate from the future of this land. My success, my happiness, and my progress are directly connected to the progress of my nation. If India rises, I rise. If India shines, I shine. If India wins, I win. This bond is unbreakable because my life is not an isolated journey. It is part of the collective journey of more than 1 billion hearts beating together. This understanding is not just emotional, it is practical. No matter how high I go, no matter how far I travel, I cannot escape the truth that my destiny is tied to the destiny of India. When I look at the world, I see nations rising and falling. I see how the efforts of ordinary citizens shape the destiny of their countries. And then I look at India and I feel a powerful truth. This country carries me, and I carry it. If India is strong, I can stand tall. If India is weak, my head bows with it. That is why the idea of shared destiny is not just a slogan for me, it is the reality of my existence. Every achievement I earn adds a star to India's name, and every setback India faces touches my own life. Shared destiny means that my responsibilities are not mine alone, they are for the greater good. If I build a business, it is not just my livelihood, it is a contribution to the economy, to employment, to growth. If I study hard, it is not only for my career, it is so that I can use my knowledge to solve problems for my people. If I serve in any field, it is not only for recognition, it is for strengthening the collective spirit of this land. What I do may seem personal, but it always carries a national impact. That is what shared destiny teaches me, that my personal choices create ripples that affect the entire ocean of India. It also means that I cannot live with indifference. If my neighbor suffers, I cannot say it is not my problem because their pain is connected to me. If a part of India struggles, whether it is a farmer in a distant village, a student lacking resources, or a soldier on the front lines, I cannot ignore it because their struggle shapes the future of my nation and therefore my own. Shared destiny is about realizing that my life cannot truly flourish while others around me are held back. It pushes me to think beyond myself and to work for the upliftment of all. This destiny is also visible in unity. India is made of countless identities, languages, religions, traditions, and cultures, but all of them weave into one fabric. If even one thread is torn, the fabric weakens. If one community suffers, the nation suffers. If one part of the country grows while another remains neglected, progress is incomplete. Shared destiny reminds me that true success comes only when we all rise together. It teaches me to care not just for my own well-being, but for the well-being of every Indian, because their destiny is my destiny too. When India achieves something, the whole world notices, and I feel that pride deeply. Whether it is sending rockets to space, winning medals in sports, or creating global leaders, every achievement of the nation adds dignity to my name as an Indian. I realize then that my identity is lifted by India's achievements. But the opposite is also true. When corruption, poverty, or injustice harms the nation, I too feel that wound. That is the meaning of shared destiny. It is the understanding that my image, my respect, and my place in the world are tied to the fate of my country. Shared destiny also means responsibility toward future generations. The choices we make today will shape the India they inherit tomorrow. If I waste resources, ignore education, or neglect unity, I am not just harming the present, I am stealing from the future. But if I plant seeds of progress, if I strengthen the foundations of justice and equality, I am giving the next generation an India they can be proud of. Shared destiny is not limited to the people alive today. It stretches across time, linking the past, the present, and the future in one continuous chain. In moments of crisis, the truth of shared destiny becomes even clearer. When floods strike one region, when drought hits another, when challenges shake the nation, people from every corner come forward to help. They do this because they understand, consciously or unconsciously, that if one part of India bleeds, the whole body feels the pain. This unity in hardship is a reflection of shared destiny. It shows that we are connected far more deeply than we sometimes realize. Even on an individual level, this destiny is always visible. If I grow into a strong, responsible, and capable person, I am adding strength to the country. If I give in to weakness, laziness, or dishonesty, I am subtracting from it. That means my destiny and my country's destiny are constantly shaping each other. India gives me opportunities, and what I do with them gives India its future. This relationship is circular, unending, and unbreakable. Shared destiny is what gives meaning to my life. It reminds me that I am not alone on this journey. My struggles are not isolated, and my victories are not mine alone. Everything I do becomes part of the larger story of India. And everything India achieves becomes part of my personal pride. That is why I cannot separate myself from my country. My story and India's story are written in the same ink, on the same page, in the same book of history. India is not just the land where I was born, it is the reason I breathe with pride, the reason I dream without fear, and the reason I rise even after falling. It is my identity, my heritage, my resilience, my love, my responsibility, and my destiny. Every heartbeat of mine carries the rhythm of this nation. Every step of mine carries the weight of its history, and every dream of mine carries the hope of its future. To love India is not simply to say the words, it is to live them. It is to remember the sacrifices of the past, to honor the struggles of the present, and to shape the promise of the future. It is to give back more than I take, to rise not alone, but with others, and to carry the spirit of unity in every action. As long as I live, I want to live as a reflection of my country's greatness. As long as I breathe, I want my life to echo the strength, dignity, and dreams of this motherland. And when my journey ends, I want it to be said that I did not just live in India, I lived for India, because India is not just my country, India is my life.